What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Physics. I'm back with another Lab Report episode. By now I hope you guys are really getting into the groove of what Lab Report is, what I want it to be, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you're getting new music out of it. Another thing, as you can see, we upgraded the setup, boys and girls. We have a new camera, so hopefully it looks pretty crisp. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the videos a little more. Now the quality just went up a little bit. Gonna get a new microphone. I don't know how this sounds because I'm using the camera microphone now, so hopefully it's not terrible. But without further ado, you guys know what it is Lab Report. We're about to get back into it. So as usual, for those that don't know, if you're new, Lab Report is essentially like a show where we come and we talk about the latest drops in hip hop from the previous weekend. I mostly do hip hop music, that's why I say hip hop, but if there's other genres that I'm missing, or if there's an album you want me to listen to from another genre, I'm not opposed to it. Unless it's country music, I will not listen to it. But you can drop it down in the comment section below, and I'll catch up on it. I'll let you guys know in the comments. I respond to pretty much every comment you guys leave, so just leave some stuff in the comments for me to listen to. So the show is broken up into 3 segments. We have the duds of the week, we have the singles of the week, and then we have the albums of the week. We always start with the duds of the week, in which I talk about the albums and singles that I like the least out of what dropped this past weekend. Alright, so starting in condescending order, coming in at number 3, we have Boy from Brooklyn, but I've heard all year, period. I don't know what happened with Smooth L in between Apollo to this album, but something drastically changed, and this was just not it. This album honestly had some of the worst lines that I've heard all year. One that just particularly stuck out to me that I wrote down is, "My dick got that mojo jojo." I don't know. I really don't. To me it's almost as if he dropped 2020 at the beginning of the year, which I thought was a banger. I don't know if I've reviewed that track on the show yet, but if I haven't, I thought that song was actually pretty good. That was my introduction into Smooth L actually, and I thought it was a really good song, so I was super hyped to see what he had coming in terms of a project. And it's like he just completely forgot how to make music after he made that song. I don't know, like I said, what happened. This is since I've been on this New York drill rapper wave, this might be the worst project that I have listened to come out of that movement. The Pop Smokes, the 22GZ, Shep G, everybody in that scene, this is the worst album I think to come from that. I was looking forward to this based on 2020 and Apollo, but he's definitely gonna have to bounce back for me, because this in particular was just not it. This was not good. At number 2, another heartbreaking entry, because I actually really like some of this rapper's previous work. More specifically, his work with Kenny Beats on their collab project. We have Breakthrough by Rob Vicious. So my introduction to Rob Vicious came in about 2 years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I just talked about his project with Kenny Beats, and he has a song on there called Weigh-Ins that is still to this day one of the hardest songs I think I've ever heard. And it's definitely a banger, and it gets played in my truck, and it gets played on stream in the playlist where it's in a rotation pretty heavy. So with that being said, I thought I would transition to this, and I would love some of his solo music, because I thought, if Kenny Beats can hand over his fire beats, surely he has some dope production on his own, and a dope production choice on his own. I was completely wrong. This was not good. This album was not good. And maybe I started to think maybe he's just a feature rapper, and he needs to be let somebody else pick the production, let somebody else have the hook, he jumps on it, rips it, because I think he's a decent rapper. But unfortunately, this is some of the worst songwriting I think I've ever heard. And it got to the point where I was begging for this album to be over and begging to move on to something else. I do think there are a few exceptions and a few glimpses of talent in some of these songs. I think the song Mental Welfare, talking about mental health within the Black community especially, is something that needs to be talked about, and especially from street people. I think you got to be too hard to have mental problems, to be sad, to want to cry and embed your feelings into someone else or something. And so I was really glad he touched on that in that song. Also, the song For Real was pretty good. But other than that, this album was just completely skippable. It just wasn't good, and I do not recommend anybody, especially if you have not listened to his other stuff, Do not listen to this album. Coming in at number 1 in our duds of the week this week, we have Split It by Moneybagg Yo and Doughboy. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, Doughboy easily, there's literally no competition, at least from what I've heard right now. Doughboy easily has the my dog is having a dream. Doughboy easily has the worst chorus, the worst verse I've heard all year. Like, this was like unbelievably bad. Like, I challenge you. So I know we talk about this often. Like, this week, this is the song. I challenge you to listen to it and not want to turn it off. I challenge you to listen to the song, because for me, like, I wanted to turn it off within the first 45 seconds of listening to it. Like, after the first 45 seconds, it was so samey and so terrible that I was like, I genuinely don't know if I can make it through the song without not already like preconceivably throwing it on the number 1 that does of the week. And I hadn't even listened to the stuff that I had to listen to for the most part, but I just knew this was going to be number 1. I will credit Moneybagg Yo. I think he tried to hold the song together. He gave us a decent verse in his portion of the song, but by then it's just too late. You're already so tuned out, and for Moneybagg, it's not even really like a that dope of a verse compared to what he can do on his own projects. Like, this song was honestly so bad that, like, I can't even believe Moneybagg would even agree to jump on this. Like, Doughboy must have either be cool with him, or he must have like dropped Moneybagg like a bag, because this song is just it's that bad. And I think it's genuinely one of the worst singles I have heard this year. No exaggeration. All right, now we're gonna switch over, transition to the good stuff. We're gonna move to the top singles of the week. And at number 3, we have Laugh Now, Cry Later by YG. So YG is somebody that, you know, it's been a little up and down for me. You know, I've liked some projects, I haven't liked some projects. I really like what he does in terms of his activism and how he's never really silent, especially like in the current presidency and current administration. I love how outspoken he is. And I think he's like I don't want to say the pioneer, but I think he's definitely been the one to sort of carry the West Coast on his back, especially now that Nipsey's gone, probably alongside like Roddy Ricch and rappers of that sort. But I haven't really liked like a full-length project from him since like Still Brazy, and I think that was like in 2016. So with that being said, like I wasn't really looking forward to the single. Like, I saw that it was coming out and I was like, oh, okay, a YG song. I mean, that's okay, I guess. But I was pleasantly surprised. This track came in that is a smooth ballad with really dope, like, lingering production behind it. But even though the production is super soft and super like somber, it definitely still has a West Coast bounce to it that you know YG for, and what makes him so appealing when it comes to his production. And with the production, YG's flow on it complements it very, very well. It's a nice little bouncy flow to go along with the beat. And I definitely think if this is any indication of what he has coming on this project, or if this is like new experimental sound he's going for, and I think it's really, really working for him, and I think he needs to keep it up and definitely bring that into his next project. At number 2, we have Viral Moment by Lil Durk. Lil Durk is a Chicago rapper that I have sort of always had my eyes on. I've had eyes on Lil Durk. I'm 22 now. I've had eyes on him since I was like 16 or 17. He's always been like a rapper to me that's really been consistent over the past years. He's like even had different transitional periods within his music and his sound. You know, he's one of those rappers where his fan base has different opinions on him based on the era of Lil Durk, I guess you could say. And I think this song really continues to highlight his growth that he's shown since he started recording more music and since he started putting more projects out. This man puts out multiple projects a year, and most of the time they're always pretty consistent, pretty good. At the very least, you're going to leave with a handful of tracks that you can put on the playlist and that you can bump to. So the song, in terms of the subject matter, they're just really honest and sincere lyrics about his come up and about keeping his music true to the trenches that he grew up in. It's just sort of not trying to change up and not letting the money get to him and not forgetting where you come from. You know, I think this new movement of Chicago rappers that are like really speaking their truth and not really glorifying what they came up with and really wanting to see their community flourish and do better is really dope to see. And I think Lil Durk is one of the best voices coming out of Chicago for that movement. And yeah, it's just a really good track. I definitely think people need to start mentioning Lil Durk's name a lot more when it comes to who's putting out consistent fire music. At number 1, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to have this at my number 1 song, mostly because I usually do not like this artist's music, but for some reason this time they absolutely killed it to me. We have Still Hold Up by Kevin Gates. So so it's funny, Kevin Gates had a little scandal recently. If you don't know what that scandal is, then go look it up. I'm not gonna talk about it on here. But with that, and like with his music already being like kind of cheesy to me, I just never really could get into it. There's definitely been a handful of songs and features for me that I really like for him. One that comes to mind immediately is "I Am Who They Say I Am" with NBA YoungBoy. I thought him and YoungBoy really collab very well, meshed very well on that song. But other than that, it's sort of been on and off. Like I think he's had really dope songs, but overall, I can never really get into a Kevin Gates project. So going into the song, I didn't expect much, but I will say from what I've heard that I think this is the best Kevin Gates has rapped in a while. Ironically, he gets really personal on this track, and he talks about his wife, talks about his court hearings, talks about his movement through the judicial system, period. And I just think it's a really, really nice, solid track. Production hits hard, his voice goes hard on it, and I just think that if he made more music like this, then I would 100% be a Kevin Gates fan through and through. I think I would listen to his music a lot more thoroughly, and with a lot more, like, just a lot more. I would listen to his music more if he made music like this. All right, so now the moment we've all been waiting for. We're gonna move to the top 3 albums of this previous weekend. So at number 3, we have Mozzy with Bulletproof. So Mozzy's always been a name that I've always heard in the rap game, but I've just never really tuned into him like that. I've always sort of just toned it out whenever people talked about him, mentioned his name. But in this instance, I think Mozzy absolutely killed this album. I think it was pretty solid from beginning to end, and I'm definitely glad that this was my introduction to him. The production on this thing was very solid, like pretty much all the way through. One of the beats that's highlighted for me was a sample he actually used from Mario on the song Big Homie from the Hood. I thought it was really, really well thought out. I think it was strategically placed, and I think there's a lot of samples on here like that. Some that I probably can't pinpoint the original songs to, but you can tell it was a sample, and they were very, very well executed, and the production on here is just solid all the way through. This album was very personal. He touched on subjects ranging from like Nipsey's death and how he's handling it. I think that was on the song The Homies Wanna Know. He talks about Nipsey's death like pretty in depth, and how he took it being from the West Coast. And then his other personal struggles that he has. And I was happy to see that he was so honest on this album, especially because, like I said, this is my intro to him. So I'm glad that he was able to, sit down and tell his story to people that might be new to him. And you can tell that this album is a big moment for him. So I'm not gonna sit on here and lie. I don't think Mozzy has like a sound that people would consider like hit maker or like future superstar. But I think he's always gonna have his niche in the rap game. And I think more eyes definitely needs to be on him. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he does have like just a breakthrough and can just crash through that glass ceiling. But me personally, I don't see him being like a superstar of any kind, but I definitely think this album is worth listening to. I think it's really, really well put together, and I think he's going to continue to grow if he keeps putting out music like this. Number 2, we have Since We Inside by Young Blue. This is a solid 6-track EP full of love songs. And it's just all love jams. I'm a sucker for like R&B music, but it's not R&B. It's like a mesh of R&B and rap. It's like fused together, just really melodic. But I thought it was really well put together. I thought it was a solid 6-track EP. I thought it was short and sweet, especially in an era where we have all these artists that do 20-track albums and like half of it is trash. I thought he was smart in putting out this EP, and it was pretty quality. The production is super soft, super soulful, and he was able to match that in his voice, that soulful voice. Like I said, the subject matter is just all love jams. So if you want to put it on in the crib, cleaning the house with your girlfriend, your wife, whatever the case may be, it's perfectly fit for that. Perfectly fit for quarantining with a significant other. And I just think it's a really solid, soulful, solid EP, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. At number 1, I don't know if this is cheating. But we have Lil Baby, My Turn Deluxe at number 1 for the album this week. I hate to be like that person that puts a deluxe album on here, but I feel like somehow Lil Baby was able to top some of the songs he already had on the original project that got praised so much by me and by everybody else. He didn't overdo it. He didn't add too many songs. The songs he did add were like so impactful And I think they just show so much growth. And like they show that he's really taking this thing seriously and that he didn't just add anything on this deluxe just to add it on there. I think nobody dropped anything that's touching his original project this week. And then like adding these tracks on top of it, like I said, it just shows like how far ahead he is of a lot of people this year. I don't know what Lil Baby ate, but he needs to continue eating it because dude's been absolutely running it, killing it this year. And I hope he keeps it up. I really do. I'm rooting for the guy. And I'm going to be honest. Like, I've always preferred Gunna over Lil Baby before this year. But now I'm starting to see the hype. I'm definitely starting to see why people will put Lil Baby over him. In fact, I think so far this year, I would put Lil Baby over Gunna just based off features. And this project alone, I think he's definitely surpassed Gunna at this point. There's absolutely no skips on the new deluxe version. I think the highlights are We Paid and Social Distancing. I think both of those songs are really hard. And on We Paid, he added 42 Dugg again. And for the love of all things holy, please give us a Lil Baby 42 Dugg collab project, because these two absolutely kill it every time they get on the track together. Like from Grace to now this, they're like a match made in heaven, and like them going back and forth bar for bar is like the highlight of the deluxe and the regular version of like this album for me. So I definitely think they need to link up again together. Lil Baby, you're absolutely killing it. If you're somehow watching this video, keep it up. Super proud. You're killing it, bro. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. Like I said before, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know how the new quality is. Let me know if you have anything you want me to listen to in particular, of any other genre, or even a hip hop. If I missed something, then let me know, and I'll make sure to give it a listen. I respond to most of the comments down below. Make sure you catch a stream. I'll leave a link to that below as well. Stream just about every day now because we're stuck inside, so why not? Make sure you go try to cop some merch.